Ooh, let's move on to this next one over here. Jackpot. Don't get it twisted. You might not be able to find it on Letterboxd's incredible SEO search bar if you don't have the exclamation point there, because there is another
Yeah.
Jackpot, but it shouldn't be confused with Paul Feig's Jackpot. What are your thoughts on Paul Feig now that we've had some more of his installments out there? We've reviewed a couple of his. Where would you fall?
Look, I have a lot of loyalty to Paul Feig. I think
Okay.
he's delivered a lot of great comedies. I've read some of his books. I think
Oh.
shoot, what is the is it
Ghostbusters
Diary
Behind
of
the
a
Scenes?
Bedwetter or something like that?
Oh, like an actual narrative.
No, it's like reflections of his adolescence and growing up. And he said a lot of the stories that he talks about in that book ended up being inspiration for a lot of the stories that he would put into one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm pretty sure you love it as well, Freaks and Geeks, which he was a key writer on along with Judd Apatow. So like I have history with this guy. I like a lot of the stuff he's done. Bridesmaids, hilarious comedy. I think Spy, super underrated. I've even enjoyed some of the stuff in between. This is the nadir. This is the low point. This is the cry for help. Paul Feig, I don't know how you're doing, but I hope it's okay, and I hope it'll be better than this soon, because wow. I guess it makes sense that he didn't write this one, because I could not imagine Paul Feig writing
Did
a
someone
script
write?
this poor. Sorry?
Did someone write?
That's a great question. Rob Yescombe is credited with
yes,
writing
yes,
this
yes.
one. And if you look at his IMDb, if you look at his letterbox, you won't see a lot of credits. But if you go over to IMDb, you'll see that Rob has a pretty illustrious history in writing for video games, for Arizona Sunshine 2, The Twilight Zone VR.
Oh.
He's the narrative director on The Invisible Hours, and he wrote Rhyme. And you know what? It makes a lot of sense that this is a guy who came from the video game world, because this kind of feels like a video game at times, like with a lot of sort of NPC interactions and just quick thrown quips that aren't really that clever.
Yeah, I can see that. It also explains Outside the Wire now too, which was also a Netflix movie.
There you go. I think that this is like an okay premise. Essentially, the premise of this movie is like it's The Purge, but there's a lottery also, right?
I said it was The Purge with that Bow Wow movie where he won the lotto ticket. Do you remember that one?
Exactly. Yeah. Probably more like that quality. But this is another one like The Union, in which there's just so little effort into this story.
It's better though, right? It's better.
Than The Union?
By a Noah Lyles nipple, bro. Like just by a little bit over the finish mark.
Sure,
Not
fine.
by a lot.
I will give you that. Look, if you're asking me which one I would even consider rewatching, it's this one easily.
Yeah.
But we often talk about like the hit miss rate on jokes, and this has got one of the lowest batting averages I can remember in a comedy. There are so many punchlines that just do nothing. They
It's
throw
so
them out
dumb.
there and they land in the dirt.
Before we even get to the punchlines, bro, why is the premise that we went into a Great Depression and what fixed it was that we randomly have a bunch of money to give out in a lotto? And then everyone's
Right,
got
one
to kill the
person
person.
every-
Right? I don't get, like, The Purge was
And
dumb,
then-
but it was like people are expressing themselves and they're like, they're
Right.
getting the anger out of them. Some pseudo-scientific stuff, right? And they kind of explain it later in the series that it was fake. What's the mathematics here, bro?
It absolutely makes no sense whatsoever. Just think
None.
about the cost of destruction to the city that happens when they go on this wild chase after
Thank you, bro.
Awkwafina. But the worst decision is what they do with Awkwafina's character, because California has instituted the lottery purge, and she
Yes.
hasn't heard of it because she watches too many shows with her mom.
Ridiculous,
How do you
bro.
not
How would you
hear
By
about the
accident.
lottery purge?
Right? We know they're trying to get rid of cars, the wildfires, and everything that's happened over there. You don't
Right.
think you would have heard about this?
I could tell you LA's mayor, but I would know if they were actively killing people for money.
It is the dumbest thing that it wants you to believe. Yeah, it's ridiculous, bro. On top of that, when she comes over here, she's a child actress as well. And the idea is that she's coming back into the business after taking care of her mom. And while doing auditions, she ends up accidentally. That's the worst part too, right? It's also like the little parts of how it's directed that are so goofy. She accidentally becomes a contestant or is able to get a lotto ticket of some sort through this ID little punch card that they have. It's like a little iPad, or a little like iPad Nano. She wins, and they have the infrastructure to update everybody. A drone follows her. There is even a company that's set out to protect her just so they can get a cut of the money if she's able to make it by sunset. And that's where you get this independent contractor of John Cena. I think John Cena's a cool guy, bro.
Yeah.
But damn, can you tell when they're going, John Cena, go ahead, this is your take. Like, there was a certain sequence in a vault, a panic room, and I'm like, this 100% is going to overstay its welcome in the bloopers. It 100% during the credits. It's him just going on and on with all these other riffs that he had. I hate also when they have John Cena fighting people half his size, and we're supposed to believe that. And then midway through the fight, he picks them up and just chucks them.
Yeah, the physics of this movie are really weird because there's a lot of like hand-to-hand brawls, and then John Cena will kick a person and they'll sail across the room. Another thing that felt kind of video gamey to me.
Yeah, through and through, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, I like John Cena. I just feel like there is a thing with him where he's not enough to carry a movie like this, right? Like he does kind of need the writing for him. As charming as he can be, people give Awkwafina a lot of flack. I didn't think she was that annoying here. Like, I didn't think she was that funny either. But
yeah, they had some good ones. There's like some meta jokes that they make in terms of like her starting off as a YouTuber and him being a wrestler. There was stuff, especially towards the end, that kind of got me to giggle a little bit, and that just made me more mad than anything. One of them says, I don't even think it's her. I think it's her roommate who was also.
She was on that Vanessa Bayer show that we like.
Yes. Okay. That's like the last good thing I remember her being in. She is in the Steph Curry show. She's the one who gets convinced. Okay, I'll pretend my daughter's sick so that I could get Steph Curry money. She's got one line in this where she's like, "I'm great at improv. I just need time to prepare." Paul Feig's like still there somewhere. Yeah. Right? Like that. Yeah. That director can't disappear. It's not that he's missing the talent, right? Like I don't know, man.
Well, it's also that like Paul Feig's talent is in comedic timing and getting funny performances. And I think this movie also really relies on the action set pieces being thrilling. Yeah. But they're just they don't ever really, the physics never make sense. They're not that exciting. You either don't believe that they're in peril or they're in way too much peril for it to make sense. Yeah, and then Shang-Chi shows up, which I guess is a bit of a cast reunion between Simu and Awkwafina.
Yeah.
But he has none of the charm that he does in the Barbie movies.
Nah, he's kind of, I mean, I've been seeing this boy's been playing the exact same thing. It's I'm gonna walk up to someone bigger than me and Barb. I'm gonna walk up to someone bigger than me and Shang. I'm gonna walk up to someone bigger than me and Ellie. Bro, it's the same thing. Like I need to see you stretch those acting muscles. Let's do something a little bit different. Also, it looks like this is the reason why he keeps getting hurt and why they keep saying Shang-Chi needs to be postponed. It's because he tries to do most of his stunts, and I'm like, for what, bro? You don't need to be jumping around. Give it to somebody else. He said he did the same thing for Atlas. Can you explain Machine Gun Kelly and this thing that he's been trying to do of continuously playing himself to the point where he's not even pretending to be a character like MGK? This man's just MGK now.
Yeah, I don't really understand it other than kind of just flooding the market with yourself, where you almost like it's like the Mike Tyson approach, where if you just sort of show up a lot, you become like, hey, it's my buddy Mike Tyson. I forget all about the bad things that you did.
He's trying to have a hangover moment.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, like it feels sweaty. It feels like he's trying to have that hangover moment.
Yeah. He wants to be the bit almost. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, overall, I thought it was pretty goofy. I don't know if they're trying to do a trilogy with this one too, since this one's over on Prime, and they also have kind of like an outro where they change the rules for next year's Jackpot.
Right? Like they kind of kill their premise at the end of their movie.
Yeah, it was really goofy. Again, I am going to say that it's better. Honestly, this makes me want to go back and take a half star because I cannot. I think there's a difference just by a half star between both of these movies. I cannot give this 2.5, but I can't take a half star away from the other one. So I might have to go back and do that because at least this made me chuckle towards the latter half of it, even though it's just too dumb for the jokes to even hit a majority of the time. But Jackpot 1 out on Prime right now.
You gave it the 2-star there. I might give it a 1.5 on my personal, but I'm happy going a 2-star on the Intercut letterboxed for us.
If we collect all of our stars for today, I don't think we'll even reach 10.
It's rough out there. We're resembling the medal count of a small European nation.
I'd rather it be at home instead of having to go out to the theater. So I guess that's the best thing that I can be thankful for.